Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content I've been putting up, be sure to subscribe so you always know when a new video pops up. Now that we got that part out of the way, let's get into the video. Final Fantasy XIV is a massive game with thousands of hours of content. What I'm going to do here is break down some of the major plot points for those of you who want to know more about Eorzea, but may not have time to experience it all firsthand. This time we're covering the finale of the Sorrow of Werlyt storyline. Despite all of the chaos brewing in Eorzea, the Warrior of Light still makes time to check on Werlyt, which is good because a lot's changed since your fight with the Emerald weapon, and unexpectedly your friend Monago shows up to explain things to you. After you helped free Turncliffe, the people of Werlyt put in extra effort into freeing the entirety of Werlyt from the Empire. Citizens gathered forming a resistance group aimed at taking down the Seven Legion, and while they've got plenty of people who are willing to fight, they don't have anyone with real leadership skills. So they made a very strange decision. They decided to let Gaius lead them. Since he was the one who took the nation for the Empire, the people figured he would have the skills to take it back. And while he was a part of the Empire, he was well known for being a far better person than most of the high-ranking Imperials. He took the job, and the first thing he asked for were additional weapons and supplies from the Alamegan resistance. While their hands are full dealing with everything that's happening in Eorzea, they still spare what they can, which is why Monago's been sent to meet with Gaius. And while she's no coward, meeting the Black Wolf alone makes her a little uncomfortable, so she asks you to come too. Gaius is in the middle of talking to some revolutionaries, and when Monago gives him the letter showing that the resistance will help him, he lets the commander know that it won't be long before they have the resources to have a chance at forcing the Legion out. That doesn't mean it'll be easy, and a lot of people will definitely die. However, as long as they can free their nation, the revolutionaries have no problem giving up their lives. Monago makes it a point to let Gaius know that the people of Alamigo haven't forgotten what he's done, and that he was one of the ones who led the invasion to their home and killed a lot of their people, but she will respect the wishes of the people of Werlyt. She just hopes he doesn't let them down. The commander of the revolutionaries doesn't care about any of that right now. He wants to talk about how they'll get their supplies from Alamigo, and he takes Monago off to iron out the details, leaving you and Gaius alone. He's well aware of how strange his position is. In truth, for the longest time, he had believed that the Empire was the only place that could lead the world to prosperity, which is why he had fought so hard for them. But seeing how they promoted a psycho like Valens to a leadership role has proven to him that the Empire isn't what it's supposed to be. Because of that, he plans on killing the man himself to start removing the bad mark he's putting on what the Empire is supposed to stand for. Honestly, I strongly believe that by the end of Endwalker, Gaius will probably be the new Emperor of Garlemald, but right now that's not important. Severa comes up to Gaius telling him that time is running out and he has to go after her. Apparently Allie has run off. She left a letter, but Gaius wants you to keep that a secret from the rest of the people because he doesn't want the soldiers to think that his family drama is distracting him. The letter doesn't say where she's going, only that she has to save Alphonse, and she knows how to do it, which means she's headed to the 7th Legion stronghold in Werlyt to steal one of the weapons. Severa wants to gather the troops and attack right now so Gaius can save his kids, but he refuses to make the people risk their lives to save 2 Imperial soldiers, even if they are his children. Not to mention just rushing in will get their much smaller force killed. And while sending you in looks like a good idea on paper, one person fighting an army means death no matter how strong they may be. Just ask Zack from Final Fantasy VII if you don't believe me. As sad as it may be, Allie knew what she was doing would probably be a one-way trip. Even if she managed to save her brother, she most likely wouldn't make it out. While the three of you are talking, a call comes through to your link shell from Valdolin. He's in Werlyt outside of the Legion's headquarters, and he just saw a lot of explosions followed by one of the weapons going on a rampage, destroying everything in its path. Before he can say more, the signal goes out. It looks like Allie managed to do what she said, and since the castrum is in chaos now, it'll be a perfect time for the rebels to attack since the weapon won't just be aimed at them. While the army is fighting, the three of you can sneak in and deal with Valens. It sounds like a good plan. It'll still be extremely dangerous, and Gaius wants to do it alone since all of this is his responsibility, but he's not used to having a warrior of light on his side who has absolutely no interest in self-preservation due to the fact that her body is coated in plot armor. Finally, Gaius decides to assemble the army and have them ready to attack once the three of you have dealt with the weapon. He orders Severa to put in a call to Sid because the time has come to use the G-Warrior again, so you head off to get prepared. While you get ready, you get to see what Allie did when she returned to Valens, although this time the image isn't shown through the echo. She returned with the combat data of the Sapphire and Emerald weapons that were meant to strengthen the Diamond weapon, something that Valens was extremely happy about. With the data being uploaded to the weapon, it's now at its full power and ready for Allie to take her place as the pilot. In return, Valens agrees to release Alphonse and the rest of the children, but Allie wants to add one more condition. She wants the people of Werlyt to be given full Imperial citizenship and the right to run their own nation as they see fit. Since Valens' true plan is to use the weapons to set himself up as the new Emperor of Garlemald, that too is within his power to do. And since he agreed to all of her terms, Allie takes her place in the Diamond weapon. Once it's turned on, she does exactly what she had planned and attacks. Unfortunately for her, Valens had expected her betrayal and built in an external shutdown feature. Although he waited entirely too long to act, since he could have easily been shot by a stray beam if Allie knew how to aim. He tells his men to bring her out alive so he can torture her for what she did, but as her tears of frustration at being so close to victory and failing pour down her face, a new system that was installed into the Diamond weapon, the Overmind, kicks on, overriding the shutdown. Then it starts firing again. Back in Turncliffe, Cid gets the G-Warrior prepped to deal with this new flying weapon. But since Gaius knows that Allie is piloting the Diamond weapon, he wants to stop it without hurting her. Fortunately, Cid has made some upgrades to the G-Warrior with the help of Avelina, a Magitech engineer who grew up in Turncliffe under Imperial rule and was a friend of Gaius' daughter Melisandre. She knows about all of the weapons, and she warns you that not only is the Diamond weapon the strongest, it has information from all of the other weapons as well. So it'll be like fighting Cell from Dragon Ball Z, only it's a Gundam. But the upgrades they made to the G-Warrior should even out the playing field, although Cid plans on keeping them quiet until you see it in the air, so you all hop onto the Enterprise and head after the Diamond weapon. The G-Warrior now comes equipped with its own flight suit, complete with lots of new weapons and a platform for you to stand on if you have to go outside and fight. The thing is now the size of one of the weapons too. With all those upgrades, Cid gave the suit the tools it needs to capture the Diamond weapon instead of just destroying it and its pilot. And since the new task is a rescue mission, he's renamed the G-Warrior to the G-Savior, which is a terrible, terrible name. With all the added buttons, it'll take you and Gaius to operate it. So he's going to drive while you do the attacking, but you won't have time to practice since you're already nearing your target. A Pacific Rim style Jaeger battle starts, and after the Diamond weapon kicks one of the missiles you fire out of the sky, it was at that moment that I knew we were all going to die. But a few missiles do get through and slow down the giant mech for you to climb on top of the G-Warrior, I refuse to call the thing the G-Savior no matter what the name is, and disable the weapon. Oddly enough, when you start fighting, it's not Allie's voice that comes from inside of it, but Alphonse's. After an intense fight, you disable the weapon, but Cid's containment field doesn't hold it, causing the weapon to fall out of the sky. You and Gaius rush down to Werlyt, hoping to get to the weapon and Allie before the Legion does. Fortunately, the two of you get there before anyone else, and you see Allie stumble out of the weapon and collapse. She's still alive, and although Gaius is happy, something catches his eye, so he sends you back to Turncliffe with Allie while he examines the weapon looking for Alphonse. While he searches, he calls out for Valens to show himself because he knew the man was there. After everything he's done, Gaius doesn't waste time trading words with the man, he just wants to know where his son is. Turns out Valens is more cruel than we thought, if that's even possible. He figured out a way to deal with the oversoul problem. Instead of merging battle data with the weapon, he decided to merge the mind of a warrior with it. In short, Alphonse is the Diamond weapon. That was why the machine had activated on its own. Alphonse was protecting his little sister even after what had happened to him. Gaius is a little bit upset about this and he attacks Valens with one of his signature techniques. However, since he has data on how the attacks work, Valens is able to counter it. But having fought Gaius before, we all know he's no slouch, and since his old techniques don't work, he pulls off a new one that Valens has no idea how to stop. Hearing his father fight, Alphonse reactivates the Diamond weapon and grabs Valens. He then deactivates all of the safeguards Valens put on the weapon and manifests his siblings, as well as all of the others who Valens murdered in pursuit of power, before crushing the man and throwing his corpse a very long way away. Gaius apologizes for failing to protect his kids, but he promises to fulfill their dream of restoring Werlyt. Alphonse asks him to give the memories stored in the weapon to Allie and to look after her. Lastly, he wants Gaius to finish him off, because he can't keep on living like he is. Gaius agrees, and with a heavy heart, he puts his son out of his misery. When you get back to Turncliffe, Valdolin lets you know that the revolutionaries used the chaos of the diamond weapon attack to take back Werlyt. They lost a lot of people in the fighting, but they won. Happy times or not, some things are going to be difficult to deal with, like the fact that Gaius nearly lost all of his children. And while Allie isn't dead, her mind seemed to fracture after her ordeal. No one can figure out what's wrong with her, but it's possible that piloting the diamond weapon had side effects. There's no way to tell for now. All you can do is wait. When Gaius gets back, the first thing he wants to do is see his daughter, but when Sid brings her out, she doesn't even recognize him. The doctors say that she must have had something terrible happen to her that snapped her mind, and when Gaius reveals that Allie had gone to save her brother, only to find out he had been merged with the diamond weapon, it's not hard to figure out what caused the girl's breakdown. Hearing that is a shock to everyone, because no one could have anticipated that Valens would be that cruel. But his cruelty was the thing that saved Allie in the end. Alphonse being fused with the weapon allowed him to keep Allie from suffering the same fate as her siblings. Not only that, the kids did succeed. They freed Werlyt, and to keep their dream going forward, Gaius vows to help rebuild the nation so Severa and Allie can have their home back. Realizing that Gaius is not as bad as he thought, Valdolin decides to keep working with him. Even Sid has a few kind words for the man who he had once looked up to as a child. Turns out there's even more cause for celebration. When Alphonse had destroyed the Legion's headquarters, he had avoided the section where all of the children Valens was using as test subjects were housed, and the soldiers of Turncliffe found them and brought them back. There's only one thing left for Gaius to do. He had taken the memory core from the diamond weapon like Alphonse had asked, and when he shows it to Allie, ether images of the memories of all of his children appear around the city for all to see. Allie takes the core and is allowed to have a very heartfelt farewell with her siblings that restores her mind, allowing her to go forward with her dad and help him restore Werlyt to what it once was before. This concludes the story of the Sorrow of Werlyt. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video.